It took less than 3 years for Hailey Bieber to sell her business for $1 billion. When so many celebrity businesses fail, why was hers so successful? As a personal brand and marketing strategist, Rhode is the perfect example of what happens when you combine marketing and personal branding together and what it can do for your business. So let's get right into it and first look at the facts of the deal. Rhode selling for $1 billion in less than 3 years means it is one of the fastest and biggest exits we've seen from a celebrity beauty brand in history. But here's how it's actually broken down. Hailey will get $600 million in cold hard cash, $200 million in e.l.f. stock, and $200 million as a potential earnout, which means that Rhode has to hit certain growth targets and certain results and metrics over the next 3 years for Hailey to get the rest of the money, basically. Hailey is also staying on as Chief Creative Officer and Head of Innovation, so she's still going to be very involved in the company. This is not one of those cash out and peace out situations. And Rhode will now exist as its own brand under the e.l.f. umbrella. So think of it like this. e.l.f. brings the infrastructure, the global reach, the retail network, and Rhode brings a strong brand, a strong customer base, and also a strong cultural pull. This tells us that basically e.l.f. is betting big on Rhode's future. And not just because Hailey's famous, it's because the numbers show real, scalable, sustainable success. Now you might think that on the surface, e.l.f. and Rhode might seem pretty different. I know that there was a lot of discourse around how it kind of felt a bit random that e.l.f. was buying Rhode, but actually when you zoom out, you'll realize that it actually makes a lot of sense. Let's start with e.l.f. They're best known as this kind of like fun, affordable, Gen Z friendly makeup brand that you find on the high street. Their whole thing is that beauty doesn't have to break the bank. So a lot of their products are under £15, for example. And let's just say this has been working very, very well for them. Now let's look at Rhode, because Rhode is a bit more upmarket, but still very accessible. Most of their products are under £40, and it's positioned as this kind of cool, minimal, grown-up brand that is also really, really involved and part of the whole clean girl aesthetic that's very popular. So it still appeals to like this Gen Z and also you could say millennial audience, just at a slightly more premium tier, at a slightly more higher price tag. So there's already alignment there, but there's other ways that e.l.f. benefits from this as well. It gives e.l.f. much more standing in the skincare space. They already have skincare products, but it's not really what they're known for. So Rhode gives them a ready-made, trusted, and already viral skincare brand with a very strong cult-like following. It also opens the door for a more premium customer. So we were just talking about how Rhode's products are a bit pricier compared to e.l.f.'s, and so e.l.f. now has this brand in their portfolio that can actually attract slightly older or more higher paying customers, which means more money in the bank, of course. It also keeps them more culturally relevant. e.l.f. has always done really well on social media. I think e.l.f. has a very strong brand in general as it currently stands, but this move helps to cement their relevance by associating with one of the most followed, one of the most talked about, one of the most famous people right now. And finally, it also brings some serious brand power to e.l.f. because Hailey's personal style, her creative ideas, and her influence are baked into every product. For e.l.f., buying Rhode isn't just about buying the products, it's buying into Hailey's audience, her aesthetic, and her positioning at the center of this clean girl aesthetic culture and aspiration. As a side note, it will be interesting to see how e.l.f. navigates this as time goes on, because Hailey is so front and center in all of the branding, in all of the photo shoots, and all of the marketing that they do for Rhode. So it will be interesting to see how they work with that. And my prediction is that Hailey will start to slowly phase out of kind of being so front and center of the brand so that they're not as reliant on her for the success of the brand. But for right now, she's definitely very much tied to the whole brand, to its aesthetic, to the story of it, and to the connection that customers have with the brand as well. This brings me on to my next point. So let's talk about why this deal isn't just about buying a skincare brand. It's about the power of marketing and personal branding and how Rhode and Hailey Bieber got it exactly right. A lot of people have been saying, well, you know, Hailey was already famous before she started Rhode, and that's not the point I'm making here. We all know she's a nepo baby, and I'm sure that that helped her a lot when they were getting Rhode off the ground. Yes, she had a head start, but a lot of celebrities launch brands and they flop. So what do you do when you can't rely so much on your fame? Well, what Rhode did and what they did differently is they built a world around their brand. Now, this idea of building a world around your brand is nothing new, and it is a very, very good marketing strategy. But I think what is different here with Rhode is that Hailey was very, very involved in this world, and every time she showed up with, you know, that dewy finish, with her looking really fresh faced and sort of that like no makeup look and vibe, it reinforced the product's promises. Because they launched when the clean girl aesthetic, this like dewy skin, the no makeup trends were at their peak. So it really leaned into that, and I think she kind of almost became the face of that trend as well. So instead of playing into the trends, she embodied them. And this is a point I really want to emphasize, because Hailey lived the brand. And so when she launched Rhode, it actually felt quite natural, because let's be honest, a lot of celebrity brands are not it. They either feel really random or very much give "I'm just trying to take your money" energy. So how did Rhode avoid this? Most celebrity brands lack intentionality. They're surface level. Typically, you will see that they just slap a name on a generic product and call it a day. The branding is maybe lazy, the positioning isn't quite right, the packaging might look rushed, and sometimes it does kind of feel like there's no real thought behind why it exists. Rhode didn't do that. Again, it wasn't just skincare with Hailey's name on it, it was an extension of her aesthetic, her routines, so you could tell that it was very thoughtful and intentional. They also didn't do too much. They didn't drop 20 products at once, hoping something stuck. They launched with three very intentional products and made each one feel essential. From a customer's perspective, it's actually better when you don't have that many products to choose from, or you have a very intentional, curated, collection of products and drops to choose from. For example, maybe you have a collection purely for dry skin, maybe you have a collection purely for oily skin, or something like that. With Rhode, because they only launched with 3 products, it meant that it was very easy for people to make a decision on what they wanted to purchase. They didn't have to think about it too much, and you kind of can then capitalize on the impulsivity, is that a word? The impulsiveness of people by only having a few options to choose from. That restraint made the brand feel very focused, and again, coming back to the idea of intentionality, because it wasn't overwhelming as a customer to then shop Rhode's products. And it was like, okay, clearly all 3 of these things either work together or plug a gap in my skincare routine that I don't already have a product for. Rhode created a world that you could be part of. I actually watched a video of hers recently where she said that when people purchase from Rhode, the way that she likes to bring them in is she'll say, "Welcome to the sort of world of Rhode." And that focus on community, not just reach, means that people feel like they are growing with the brand and actually being part of their journey. The product is actually good. Rhode's products generally work, and to be honest, that has helped things go a long way. Having an actually good product that delivers on the promise you make is half the battle usually, and this is what can happen sometimes when you sort of put your name on something and you're not really that involved in the creation of it or in the thinking behind it. Also, Rhode's products are a little bit different. I mentioned before how it feels like these products are meant to plug a gap in your skincare routine, or at least try to make you cut down on as many products as you need. So again, every product, everything that they do feels very intentional and is meant to serve a very specific purpose in your routine and as part of your skincare, makeup, whatever it is. What we've seen with a lot of celebrity-backed products is that it's kind of just having your name, having your face on something that already exists. There's no real innovation there. And so because Rhode's products are slightly different, they're kind of innovating in the skincare space, and also because they genuinely work, that combination has also helped them a lot. And finally, most celebrity brands, in my opinion, feel like they could belong to anyone. As I said before, there's a tendency to just put your face, put your name on a product that kind of already exists, that isn't really doing anything new, and sell that and put that out into the world. I honestly feel like when I look at Rhode and when I look at the products that are out there, when I look at her in general and I see her own brand, her own personal brand, to me, I don't feel like Rhode could be anyone else's but Hailey's. And to be honest, that's kind of the whole point of having a personal brand, is you're not trying to be everyone, you're not trying to do what everyone else is doing. Rhode has only ever doubled down on what they can do, what they can innovate, the boundaries that they can push, the things that they can put out there that is new and exciting and is different and is giving the girls something that they might not have seen before. For example, the lip balm phone case that they put out is absolutely genius, even though yes, there were a few haters that saying it was looking a little bit ayo. At the end of the day, it's something that kind of did break the internet for a bit. It was kind of a bit of a cultural reset at the time because no one had ever seen anything like that before. So I guess what I'm saying here is that Rhode didn't try and compete with everyone. They carved out their own lane and then owned it. So if you're also thinking about building a brand, whether you're working with a celebrity, you are the celebrity, or you're just bootstrapping your business, the questions you should be asking, or at least the questions that we can get from Rhode's success, is what makes this undeniably mine? And it's not just about the way that things look. When we think of brand and marketing in this day and age, I'm definitely seeing a trend towards this very similar look and feel and energy from brands that are specifically targeting Gen Z. And I think, again, Hailey has kind of flipped that on its head and is pushing these products that are that look completely different to all of these new brands. Again, I think that makes her stand out, and I think that also makes it undeniably hers. The next question is, how do you build something people want to be a part of, not just buy once? So especially, as people are tightening their purse strings, as people are becoming more and more aware of how much things cost and maybe don't have as much money that they can use to spend on luxury items, the way that you make them feel is what is going to keep them coming back. I think what Hailey has been able to do really, really well, and not just Hailey, there are a lot of brands out there. Rafai is doing a really good job at this. I think Tala's doing a really good job at this. They are creating a community that you genuinely want to be a part of, that you genuinely want to stick around for and feel like you are on a journey with. And especially, I guess, with something like skincare, that kind of makes sense because it can go both ways, right? So you can have a product that does absolutely nothing for your skin or actually makes your skin worse, or you have a product that makes your skin better or 10 times better. And from what I've seen from reviews and how people are talking about Rhode's products, it seems like they're more on this side, the one that actually makes your skin better and really benefits you in that way. And so if you can be a part of that journey, people want to look better, people want to have more confidence by having better skin. And so if you can provide that, and that is, something that you can all kind of collectively share as a customer group, then that's something that people are going to stick around for and again want to continue buying from you. And finally, how do you keep showing up for the long game? Again, I think this is a really interesting question because Rhode hasn't existed for very long, and also potentially Hailey might not necessarily be the face of the brand for the rest of the brand's existence. And if e.l.f. are smart, which it does seem like they are, it seems like they have a very good team, then they will be thinking, how can I get the most out of Hailey while we still have her, but at the same time make sure that the company can exist without her as well. Now we've come to the part where we talk about what this means for you. What can we learn from Rhode? I think the first thing is that the marketing landscape is shifting. We're moving away from the faceless, the sort of corporate looking brands hiding behind a logo, the companies that play it safe. And we're moving towards these founder-led, personality-first businesses. Brands that actually feel human. Brands you want to be friends with. Brands that let you in and let you be a part of the journey. And this $1 billion deal between e.l.f. and Rhode is a perfect example of that. It tells us loud and clear that people don't just buy the product, they buy who's behind it, they buy the feeling it gives them, they buy the story, and of course they buy this aspirational and inspirational aesthetic that is being put forward by the company. Rhode wasn't the first skincare brand to launch with a few products and minimal packaging, but what has made it stand out and what has made it so valuable was how deeply connected people felt to the brand and to then Hailey, because her routine, her aesthetic, her way of talking about all of the products, that all felt very personal. When you create that level of connection, your audience, they want to support you, they want to share, they want to talk about your products, they want to stick around. And that is what happens then when personal branding and marketing join forces and come together. Now you might be thinking, okay, I get that, but I don't want to be the face of the brand, or I don't want to become an influencer. I hear that all the time. And it's not about that. It's not about sharing your morning routine or being super polished or always having something clever to say. At its core, personal branding is really simple. It's simply just getting people to know you, like you, and trust you, so that when it is time to sell your product, your service, your next idea, get funding, whatever it is, your clients and your customers are already on board. And this is why now more than ever, personal branding and marketing can't live in separate boxes. We all know content is king. They have to work together. When people feel connected to you, your marketing doesn't feel like marketing anymore. And that is the magic of what happens when you combine marketing and personal branding together. I know I sound like a broken record, but what ends up happening is it feels like a friend is giving you a recommendation. It feels like someone you trust is letting you in on something good. And we're way more likely to buy from someone we trust than someone who just shows up on social media with, something clever to say and a discount code. So this is the shift that I want you to start thinking about in your own brand. Stop trying to look like a business that has everything figured out. Start building something people can actually connect to. Let them see you. Tell them why you care. Talk to them like a human, not a sales page. Share what you believe in. Your audience isn't just looking for products or services. They're looking for people they can trust, because you're making certain promises. You're telling them certain things that they have to believe and they have to trust before they purchase. People also want values that they can align with. People want someone who feels relatable, people who they can be inspired by. So if you've been scared to put your face out there or your voice out there or your story, if you've ever felt like, maybe it's too late or you're not an expert enough or you're not polished enough, this is your sign to start, because in 2025 and beyond, the brands that win are the ones that are human first. But it has to start with showing up, even if it's not perfect, and you're figuring it out as you go along. And that is something all of us, even the non-Hailey Biebers of the world, can do. If you're trying to grow your business, you need your marketing and personal branding to work together. That's how people first find you, start to trust you, and then buy from you. I help founders get both right. If you want to know how, there's more information in the link in the caption. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm so grateful that you stayed to the end. Let me know what you think about this $1 billion deal in the comments, or generally what you think about celebrity-backed brands. And if there's anything that you agree or disagree with what I shared, I would also love to know as well. I want this to be a space where we can learn and we can grow together. So I'll see you in my next one. Thanks. Bye.